Hey, what's going on? It's Dr. Gonzo Boogie here again, back for another collection update video. And in this video, I have some DVDs and some real cool tapes to show you guys. But I also have some comic books and a couple just regular books in general, which I thought were cool enough to show in one of these videos. So I'm just going to get going and show you guys what I got for the DVDs first. And first off here, I picked up a couple of these Val Lewton horror packs. And if you don't know, Val Lewton is mostly known for the horror movies he produced and the thriller movies he produced for RKO Pictures in the 40s and I think early 50s too, but I think mostly just throughout the 40s. And he did a bunch like Cat People and other stuff like that. But I picked up these ones. They're both 2-packs. This one is Isle of the Dead with Boris Karloff, and then Bedlam with Boris Karloff. I've actually seen both of these, and they're both pretty good. Isle of the Dead is kind of a zombie voodoo type movie in a way, and Bedlam is about like an insane asylum where Boris Karloff is the person in charge there, and it's pretty crazy. It's a good story too. Good stuff here, really cool. And this is the other pack I picked up. This is the Leopard Man and Ghost Ship, the Ghost Ship, and I've actually never seen either of these, but I think the Ghost Ship was remade, so that's pretty cool, so looking forward to checking both of these out for sure. Next up here is an awesome DVD, probably the coolest DVD that I have in this update, and it's a copy of Halloween 5 and Anchor Bay release of this, and this is just a really awesome looking copy of Halloween 5. I've been wanting to get a older Anchor Bay release like this for a while. I used to have, and I still do have, the orange tinted one that Anchor Bay put out probably in like 2006 or 8, something like that. But this is a release from 2000 for Halloween 5. Just really nice. Love the artwork. Classic poster design there. Really nice spine. I love how the Halloween font is orange. Really cool there. And there's the back. Really cool. And this still has the introduction from Danielle Harris and the other main actress in the movie, which I always thought that was a cool introduction they did for the DVD release of this. And then, like always, awesome insert with the poster art and chapter selections. Just really cool here. Really excited about this. Actually, there's stuff on the flip side of this artwork too. On the other side, there's kind of some stuff about the movie and some pictures, which I think is pretty cool. So this is just an awesome edition of Halloween 5. Another great addition to my Anchor Bay and my Halloween collection. And then this is last for the DVDs I picked up for this week, and this is the X-Files Season 1. And this show was really awesome. I used to watch it a little bit when I was younger. I remember at one point it was on after The Simpsons back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I used to watch it then, but I never got really big into it. I always thought it was cool, though. But for some reason recently I've been really wanting to watch this. I'm not sure why, but I just, for some reason, wanted to pick this up. So I did, and I've been watching it. I just finished Disc 2 last night, and this show is just awesome. I just love everything about it. I love the alien stories they deal with and everything else. I just think this is an awesome show, and so far all the episodes that I've seen have just been classics. Just really, really good, real entertaining. Definitely going to try to pick up Season 2 of this pretty soon. X-Files Season 1. Next I have a little stack of tapes here. First off, I picked this up, which is really cool. Probably the coolest tape I have here. This is The Bride of Frankenstein, the classic Universal monster movie. This is the sequel to the original Frankenstein with Boris Karloff, and this one also has Boris Karloff in it, of course, and it's also directed by James Whale, who also directed the first Frankenstein movie. So this is one of the best and earliest horror sequels, and definitely one of the earlier horror sequels to actually have the same director as the first work on it. So this is really cool. And this is one of those movies that is just as good as the original. The first 3 Frankenstein movies that Universal put out, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and Son of Frankenstein, are all really, really good. Probably 3 of the best Universal monster movies in general. So this is really cool. And definitely recommend this if you've never seen it. But this is brand new, sealed still. This is the Classic Monster Collection edition of these, and I'm trying to collect all these. There's a ton of them. Counting this one, I only have 15 of them right now, and I'm actually not sure how many there are, but I'm sure there's like close to 40, maybe even more than that. There's a lot of these Classic Monster collections, but I was real excited to get this one brand new. Awesome here. Really cool. And next up, I have a couple of music tapes here. First off, I'll show you guys the one that I think is the coolest, and this is a Roxy Music DVD, I meant VHS video collection. And this is really cool because Roxy Music is like a glam rock and roll band that came out of the early 70s, and you know, they released music throughout the 70s and into the 80s and everything. This collection has stuff from 1972 to 82. So it goes right from the start of their band, and my favorite stuff from them is their first two albums, which feature Brian Eno on the synthesizer, and Brian Eno is one of my favorite musicians, and I've loved almost everything he's worked on. So real excited about that. And another thing I thought was cool is this also features a Brian Eno video from a song from his first album, which Brian Eno's first album is very similar to the sound of Roxy Music, which is, I would say, like proto new wave in a sense, and they do a lot of, they do that glam David Bowie type stuff. Like they all kind of dressed in very like girly clothes with makeup on. You know, they're one of those type of 70s glam bands, just really cool. And yeah, so it's really cool. There's a Brian Eno video on this from his first album, and his first album, like I said, sounds like Roxy Music stuff, and it also features most of the members of Roxy Music, so pretty cool they put that on there. I'm not sure if it's like a live thing or an actual video, but I'm extremely looking forward to watching that one. And yeah, just some really cool stuff from Roxy Music here. It's got videos. I guess some of these are actual videos, and some of these are like live things, like live videos and stuff like that. But other than that, just I'm extremely excited about this. Can't wait to check this out. Brian Eno, Roxy Music tape right here. Alright, then I picked up two Depeche Mode tapes, which I'm not the biggest Depeche Mode fan, but I'm a big fan of like 80s new wave synth pop music, so you know, I have a couple Depeche Mode CDs, and I think they have a couple good songs, but I picked these up because I got these tapes for 50 cents each, and they're live videos for Depeche Mode. This one's from 1988, I think. Follows them on their 1988 tour. And then this one right here is from 1985, which I'm looking forward to watching this one a little bit more because I like the songs that they did around this era more than their later 80s stuff. So really cool. You know, and it's always cool to see these 80s synth pop bands live because most of the time they just play like synthesizers and stuff like that. So it's just cool to see them all on stage with their synthesizers going and stuff like that. Just really cool. Cool stuff right here. So definitely looking forward to that. Alright, and last but not least here, I'll show you guys the comic books and the books I picked up. Actually, I stopped into this comic book store that's around where I live. It's called My Mother Threw Mine Away, and it's an awesome, awesome store. If you're ever in the area of Torrington, Connecticut for some reason, definitely look it up and stop. Just a really cool store. It's a small store, but it's got a lot of comics and a lot of other just memorabilia and records and stuff like that. Just a really cool store. But I went in there looking for the Blade Runner comics that Marvel put out in the early 80s. They actually put out the first two comics, which I have right here, which I'll be showing in a second, are a recap of the movie. They actually they do the whole entire movie. This is an adaptation of the movie is what I'm trying to say. So both of these comics here adapt the Blade Runner movie into a comic, and then after this, it actually became its own series. I think of like 10 comics that kind of sequel the movie in a sense. So I wanted to buy some of those too, but they only had the first two, which are the ones that I wanted the most. So I was real excited about this. So this is Blade Runner issue 1. And these came out in 1982. And just really cool stuff here. I mean, these are comics that I've been wanting forever. I think I've mentioned that I've been trying to buy these in some of my videos before. So I've been looking for these for a long time. Definitely something I wanted to add to my Blade Runner memorabilia. and Blade Runner collection in general. So this is really cool adaptation of the movie. This is part 1 and part 2. These are put out by Marvel again. It's really good stuff. I love Marvel comics. I've always been a Marvel fanboy since I was younger. And I actually don't have too many comic books in my collection right now, but definitely looking to buy some cooler ones like this to add in my collection. So really cool. Some Blade Runner comics right here. Excited about these. And what I've heard about most of these adaptions, especially the ones that Marvel put out, is they didn't actually, they didn't wait for the movie to be done to make this. So these adaptions were usually made while the movie was still in production. So they would get sent kind of like a rough cut of the movie, some pictures and the script, and they would have to make the comic based off that. So it's cool reading these comics because sometimes there's stuff that's different than the actual movie. So, and sometimes there's scenes in these comics that were cut from the movie or little stuff like that. So definitely going to read these two sometime soon. Alright, and I also picked up another comic book there, and this is actually one of the 2001 A Space Odyssey comics that Marvel put out in the early 70s, I think. I have issue 4 of this already, and this is issue number 3. So I thought that was pretty cool. This guy actually had more of the 2001 A Space Odyssey comics there, but this was the cheapest one, so I picked this one up. But I'll probably go back and pick up some of the other ones he has too. It's because, again, this is a series that I would like to get them all out of. And just like the Blade Runner one, this follows the same exact thing. The first 2 issues, or the first issue of this, was actually an adaptation of the movie. And then the rest of the issues are just a little bit weird. Like this, the 2001 series is almost like an anthology comic series where each comic has its own story, and it kind of takes elements and themes from 2001: A Space Odyssey, but it doesn't really. It's not like it doesn't take place in the actual 2001 universe. It's hard to explain, but it's pretty cool. Good stuff right here. Awesome artwork on this. Jack Kirby actually worked on the artwork for the 2001 comics, and he's one of the best comic artists ever. Definitely check out his work if you haven't heard of him. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Alright, and last here I have a couple books that I want to show you guys, and this is a book that I picked up for $3, which I thought was a good deal on this because it was a pretty big looking book. I got this at a thrift store. This is Andy Warhol's Exposures, and this is a collection of photographs taken by Andy Warhol, and I'm a huge Andy Warhol fan. He's one of my favorite artists, huge influence on the artwork that I work on. And this was actually released in the early 80s, and it features pictures, I'm guessing, from the late 70s, maybe even the real early 80s, but this was released in 1980, this book. But it has pictures of everything, like Studio 54, people partying there, and it also has pictures of people in politics and other stuff like that. Just a very random collection of photos, but really cool. I thought this was interesting. I flipped through this a couple times already, and the cover of this isn't in the best condition. It's a little ripped up. It's actually been taped. But this book actually goes for a lot of money. I looked it up on Amazon. Actually, I didn't check out the eBay prices on this. But on Amazon, the cheapest I saw this going used was $70. And for brand new on this book, it was going for $400 and over. So this is definitely a rare book. And like I said, I picked this up at a thrift store for $3. And, I had a feeling that it might be worth more than $3 when I picked it up because, it's an older book, it's big, and, Andy Warhol and all that, so, but I wasn't expecting it to be worth that much, so really cool. Saved a ton of money on this. I mean, this is a book I never would have been able to order off the computer or buy in an actual bookstore because it would have been way too expensive for me, so really cool here. And last but not least, I picked up this book at a thrift store too, and I thought this was really cool. I had never seen or heard of this. This is the Friday the 13th book series, and I picked up the first Camp Crystal Lake novel. And these are actually young adult books. I was looking over by the Goosebumps and Scary Stories books, stuff like that, and I found this sitting there, and the text is really big on this. I figure I could probably read this whole book in 20 minutes or a half hour. It's just kind of like a Goosebumps book in a sense. So I don't think this is probably really violent. This is more made for like young adults, not like an R-rated Friday the 13th type book, you know what I'm saying? But these are actually rare too. I looked these up on the computer. Most of these go for like 20 bucks or more. I got this for $1 at the thrift store, which is really cool. But I mean, these books actually feature Jason in it. Like the second issue of this has Jason on the cover right there. You can see the hockey mask and the logo. So this is just really cool. Like if I knew these existed when I was in high school, when I was younger, I definitely probably would have had all these. So I'm going to go back to that thrift store and see if they have any more of these hiding around, because they're all kind of expensive. Some of the issues even go for like 30, 40 bucks for these releases. So really cool. Glad to get this. Looking forward to reading this one too. Right in here they actually have some of the pictures, black and white, of the other releases. Jason's Curse and the Carnival. Just really cool. Really fun stuff here. Excited that I found this. But alright guys, that was the update, and I hope you guys liked it. And like always, if you did, give it a thumbs up or leave a comment, and thanks for watching.